In this episode of Ricky Remembers BMX Bikes. Ricky remembers BMX Bikes. But before we get to that topic, I want to address the comments from yesterday's episode about children's birthday parties. We got a ton of comments from some new people, which is great. We didn't just get comments from 2 people, we got a few more people in there commenting. I want to address Alexandra Staley's comment. Alexandra is a friend from the Philippines. She used to run that Greek restaurant out in Tagaytay. If you want some vegetarian catering for your parties, Alexandra is your girl. Go check her out. Alexandra commented about the food in those children's birthday parties back in the day. I don't know why I didn't mention any of the food at all. So of course, in these children's birthday parties, aside from the birthday cake, you had spaghetti, of course you had barbecue, pork barbecue, you would have fried chicken, and you would have those red hot dogs on sticks, red hot dogs with the pastel colored marshmallows. Those red hot dogs are funny. I will have a separate episode for that altogether. You knew those well, we didn't know it back then, but those red hot dogs are probably so bad for you. They were so full of preservatives. And even just the fact that they were that red, you knew it had a lot of artificial coloring. But we loved those as kids. We loved those. Those were usually from Pure Foods or Swift. Mighty Meaty hot dogs, I remember, is what they were called. That's so funny with those hot dogs. When you brought them to school and you had your lunchbox, the color of the hot dog or the red coloring would actually mix with the rice at some point. You know, it would stain the rice. It would have a red stain. It was that artificial. So yeah, the red hot dogs from those children's birthday parties. Thanks to Alexandra Staley again for that comment. I want to acknowledge also the comment from my cousin. Those cousins that I keep talking about in my past videos. Miko Magsaysay, Manang Miko, commented about the cotton candy machine. You know that it had a stand. It was a stand. It was like a wheelbarrow. There was a wheel on. You know, like those ice cream, those sorbetes. I don't know what you call it. Those sorbetes carts. It's a stainless steel cart where they made the cotton candy. Every children's birthday party in the Philippines in the 80s was not complete without that. So, you know, you would get a barbecue stick, a wooden barbecue stick, to make that pink cotton candy. So it wasn't any of these fancy cotton candies. It was just that generic cotton candy. They were usually just pink. But yeah, it was the same cotton candy cart that was made of stainless steel, nothing fancy, no colors or anything. And you had a person usually manning that. I don't know where you got those cotton candy machines or where they came from, whose business that is. Was it just one company who made it? But it was always present in the children's birthday party. So thank you to Alexandra Staley and Manong Miko Magsaysay. Miko Magsaysay, if you don't know who Miko Magsaysay is, he is the Bugsy Siegel of San Juan, La Union, the surf capital of the Philippines. He's the architect of that area. So check him out, Miko Magsaysay. Also, I wanted to acknowledge Christine Messina. Christine Messina mentioned the ice cream, the Magnolia ice cream cups that were in those birthday parties. I remember they really only just came in a few flavors, but Howie, the mascot from Magnolia back then, so it was a tiny ice cream cup, and you were given a wooden spoon to eat your ice. I wonder how big those were. I'm sure right now it would look really minuscule. But it had chocolate. It came in chocolate, in ube, and in mango. I don't remember any other flavors in those small cups. But yes, they were a staple in the children's birthday parties in the Philippines back in the 1980s. So thank you for all those comments, and thank you for all the new commenters. I really appreciate it. We're getting a wider audience, even though it's just 3 more. For me, that's huge. Thank you so much. So let's get to the topic at hand. Ricky remembers BMX Bikes. and I will throw out some brand names out there, because when I remember BMX bikes, I remember Redline, I remember Fox, I remember Torker, and then I remember Mongoose. I remember, or Ricky remembers, Diamondback. Remember Diamondback? And I remember also Araya. Araya wheels were like the spokes or the rim of the wheel. Araya was the popular brand back then. And I also remember Haro. I remember when you had your BMX bike, you would put like a plastic shield in front of it where it would have your number. I remember having one, and the brand name was Haro. So you would put a sticker of your number or any other stickers there in front of your bike's handlebars. So Haro was the brand name for that. So I started learning how to ride the bike with my cousins, my very popular cousins, the Ignacios and the Magsaysay's, Manong Boji, Manong Bimboy, Manong Miko. So we were in Project 8. They were living in Project 8, and I would stay with them sometimes during weekends and summer vacations. And there was one particular period where when we all got into BMX bikes. And you know why? Their house in Project 8 was near Quezon Avenue, where Bike Crosser was located. I'm sure the BMX bike enthusiasts out there watching this will remember Bike Crosser in Quezon Avenue. It was very near the Santo Domingo Church in Quezon Avenue, Bike Crosser. So I think our moms went there one time, and they all left there with each of us having one bike each. And my bike back then was a red Fox. It was Team Fox or Fox. I remember, you know, those foams that you would use to cover the body or the bike frame, and then also the handlebars had the label Fox. I don't remember if it was Fox or Redline. Might be Fox. And then of course my older cousins had Torker and Mongoose, and then the others had Diamondback, and Redline and Mongoose. Were the popular brands back then. As I got older, also I remember owning a Hutch bike that I bought from Green Hills, specifically that bike shop in Shopsville at the basement or at the ground floor. There was a bike shop there at the corner, right beside the escalator. That's where my Tito Bobby Baizas was the one who bought me that Hutch bike. Back when I think I was about 11 or 12 years old, or 11 to 12 years old. My Tito Bobby Baizas bought that bike for me, a Hutch bike, and it was like the coolest bike back then. It was the bike to have. Even back then, this was maybe 1987 to 1988. It was worth like 3,000 pesos back in the day, which was like a small fortune. Or it wasn't a tiny amount. So thank you to my Tito Bobby Baizas for buying that bike for me. I remember that very well. And then I also remember you would assemble these bikes. You would buy the parts separately. You would buy a Shimano wheel set, because that was the durable and the popular one. And then your BMX bike would be a big deal if it was chrome moly. Or it was alloy, so it wasn't just stainless steel or anything like that. So it was supposedly lighter, or lighter but more durable, so you can do more tricks with it, or you can go faster if it was made of alloy, or if it was made of chrome moly, or if it had chrome moly in it. And I also remember back from my Capital Bliss days, I had a friend there. His name's Waki Villanueva. We're still friends. Waki, kumusta? How are you doing, my friend? I remember I loved borrowing Waki's bike. It was a PK Ripper. It was a red and white, or a pink and white. It was very unique. It was a pink and white PK Ripper BMX bike. I remember it was so light, and it just looked so, the design was just so nice. But more than that, it was so light to use, so it was easy to do wheelies, or it was easy to jump on it, and it was also very fast, and it was very responsive. So I love that bike from Waki. Waki, If you're there, please drop. If you're watching this, please drop us a comment and subscribe to Ricky Remembers. I remembered your BMX bike, your PK Ripper. Um, there's so much more to talk about or to discuss about this topic. So I don't know if 10 minutes or even more would be enough for this. But I do remember BMX bikes very fondly. They were very famous in Manila. It had its time back then in the late mid 80s to the late 80s. And I remember we would have a ramp in the driveway, and we would try to do these stunts. Was it called tabletop or table turn? Was it tabletop? Tabletop. But you would go up in the air and you would try to twist the bike in a certain way. I don't even know why it's called a tabletop or a table turn. Guys, BMX enthusiasts, please tell me what it's actually called. So yeah, we would do that. We would do a wheelie. We would do an endo. An endo is when the back wheel was the one who got up instead of the front wheel, which is a wheelie. So what you would do is you would go against a sidewalk, press the front brake, and do an endo. And sometimes you would use the step nut. I don't know. I remember the step nut as well. It was these metal or aluminum rods that you put in the back and also in the front. I remember there was a time when it was just the very thin, slim step nuts, but then it evolved into these thicker ones so that you could have a better grip with your feet with these step nuts. Oh my God, there's so much more to discuss about BMX bikes, but I'll probably wait for the comments and then I'll address it in the next episode. I'm sure all BMX bike enthusiasts there will comment a lot about this. I'm right in front of Performance Bicycle here in Aliso Viejo here in Orange County. So it's a big bike store, so I thought I'd shoot my episode here. I talked to a bike shop owner and he said that, you know, those brands apparently they don't exist anymore. Fox, Torker, Mongoose, Diamondback, Redline, Hutch, a lot of these brands disappeared when BMX wasn't as popular in the early 90s anymore. I know BMX is back now, and it's been back for a while because of the extreme games and all of that. But the brands we know, the brands we remember and love, they don't. A lot of them don't exist anymore, which is unfortunate. So Ricky remembers BMX bikes. Ricky remembers Fox, Redline, Torker, Mongoose, Hutch, and Diamondback, and Haro and Araya. Please comment, share, like, subscribe to the channel by clicking on subscribe below. And I look forward to your comments, and I look forward to you guys tuning in and commenting again in the next episode. This has been Ricky Remembers. I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you.